Hi, I'm Christopher Dunn again. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Passage 5-light pendant. This is the 131081. Also, an 8-light pendant exists for this, and it's a nice piece too. Check it out as well. Also, a matching wall sconce you should use with this. I would, because it's a beautiful sconce on its own. 201080. It's in our interior sconce section. Okay, so let's get into a lot of details on this. So let's talk about the height of the fixture, what we call the fixture body. That's going to be independent of the rod that it's hanging from. 18.1 inches tall, and the diameter is coming in at 30.3, so it's a pretty good size. Overall height, now you're going to have an adjustable range that you can be as short as, and when we measure this, we measure from the ceiling to the exact bottom of the whole thing, 25.2. And then as long as 52.2, that's going to be using the connection rods that come with it automatically. But this is going to be shipping with 120 inches of wire, and if you need this to be much longer than 52 inches, easy to do. All you have to do is order another kit or two of these pipes, and you're going to have 120 inches of wire to start with. You need to have a little bit of wire just to get to the box, so I kind of figure you can have, with additional kits, which are not expensive at all, you can get up to 10 feet overall height, and that's great because that'll cover pretty much everyone. So why don't we talk about these things? So Hubbardton's using this system of interconnected rods, and you're going to be getting 3 of the 12-inch. You're going to get 2 of the 12. I'm sorry, on this one you're getting 3 of the 12s, 1 of the 6, and 1 of the 3. You're going to use them in different combinations to get to an overall height that you're going to be able to see listed over on that side of the screen. There's a little chart over there. It's going to show you which of these you use to get to those numbers. So a couple things. Let's look at the installations instructions so we can show you how this goes together. And it's really simple. You basically are going to take the fixture, you're going to put it down on a table, you're going to take the wires and you're going to feed them through the little parts first. And you're going to feed them through what's called a connector, has threading on both ends, and then the pipes actually have threading on the inside. They're very, very well made. They're very incredibly well made. I used to work in the jewelry industry, and these are beautifully milled. So when you put them all together, look at that. You can barely even see a seam anywhere. So the installations instructions PDF is on the same page for this as this, over on that side of the screen, and click it and open it up for me. It's going to show you a lot of great information. It's going to show you a full parts list of all the parts you're going to get automatically, but it's also going to show you how you put it together, like I just said a second ago, and you're pretty much good to go with that. It's also going to show you the canopy that's up in the ceiling. It's a 5.5-inch round canopy. It's going to go over your 4-inch junction box. That's what you guys have. It's coming in at 17.6 pounds, so it's not overly heavy. There's no weight restriction on it. It should be fine for anybody using something like this. Okay. So moving on from there, why don't we talk about the glass really quick. You're going to be using or have available 2 different types of glass. This is going to be the frosted version, and the other one's going to be clear. Pretty easy there, right? So moving on from glass, why don't we talk about other things, and those other things are really going to be what's going on inside of this as far as lamping goes. You'll see on Hubbardton's site and on our site, they say the recommended bulb is a T bulb, but in reality, none of you are going to use that. That's kind of a tubular bulb. What you're all going to use, basically, I believe, is going to be this, a chandelier bulb, which is super easy to find. This came from my local hardware store. Chandelier size. It's going to be, you can use either a flame tip version of this, or this is called a torpedo, and it just uses the smaller chandelier base. And this is called an E12 base. That's what chandelier sizes are really called in my world anyway. As far as what you can use for LEDs going on, and most of you guys are going to be getting away from incandescents and going to LEDs, the maximum for each socket is going to be 10 watts. Have I found this bulb in a 10 watt? Not really, because you don't really necessarily have to. A 4 watt version, which is this one right here, this is the equivalent of a 40 watt bulb. And you've got, how many do you have? 5? So that's quite a bit. That's more light than most people are going to need. So I would probably go for the 40 watt equivalents of these. So like a 4 or a 5 watt I think should do the trick. And you can get it, like I said, at your local hardware store. I can get this at my drugstore, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, online. They're pretty much everywhere at this point. Okay, and another important thing when you were getting these is you want to make sure they're dimmable. And on this, it actually says dimmable right on the box, so very important. It doesn't matter if you're online or you're in a store, make sure it says dimmable. And the color of the light's going to be really important too. So you're going to see that these are going to be offered to you in a couple different versions, like 3 different versions. 2700 Kelvin is going to be super, super yellow, like a setting sun, which is very pretty. Way on the other side of that, these are going to be offered to you in something called daylight. Daylight is not a warm light. That's that bluish white hospital waiting room light or an overcast day. That's going to be 4,000, 5,000 Kelvin on the Kelvin scale. What we like to use in our showroom is called warm white, and that's going to be 3,000 Kelvin. That's the nice light coming down on my hands from these 3,000 Kelvin LEDs above me right here. So that's kind of where we want to go, but it's really up to you what you put into this. Very important, like I said before, make sure it's dimmable. It says it on the box. It says it right there. And also, tell your installer you're putting a dimmable LED on the fixture so they put the correct dimmer on the wall for you. Let's get into metal finishes now. If you are on the HandmadeInVermont.com website, look over in the red tabs with the pictures in them over there. You're going to see a Finishes Help Guide tab. Open that up for me. It's going to be a video there of me talking to you guys about the differences in Hubbardton forged finishes, how they can look on different types of forging. I'm going to be referencing a chart just down below. So scroll down a little bit. You're going to see a chart. You can click on that chart. So you can click on dark smoke. You can click on soft gold. Doesn't matter. Big page will pop up showing you lots of different things in that finish. You can go back to the chart and you'll notice there's letters A's on them, letter B's on some of those things, and that's going to be showing you this range of variants that you can expect to see on different translucent finishes, but I'll talk about all of that in the video, okay? Okay, showroom. Our showroom in Vermont has over 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures. This is the biggest showroom in the world of Hubbardton Forge. No other showroom is like this. Hubbardton Forge doesn't even have their own showroom. They use this one. What's on display? We have a great tab on that. In those same red tabs, you're going to see a What's on Display page. So open that up. It's going to show you everything we have on display, and including which finish, which shade, all of those things, and what kind of glass it's on there. We're open every day except Sunday, 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have an amazing clearance center. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued stuff, showroom samples. You have to come here to use it. Can't call us or email us about it, but it's definitely worth coming in to look at if you're in Vermont. Plus you want to use the showroom anyway because there's just so much great stuff here to see. Our number in Vermont, 802-446-2400. You can email us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Love to answer emails, and it's sales@HandmadeInVermont.com. So when you order from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is going to be free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. No tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. And we're the only dealer with 90-day returns, no restocking fee. Nobody else does that. Some larger items are going to be non-returnable. It's going to be really important that you are looking at the fixture on that page and kind of scroll down under the description. It'll tell you if that is the case. And that's usually for really big, giant, huge fixtures, mostly that go out on pallets. Okay, that's it. Rush program. Let's talk about that. So rush program, Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to go out the door. That's production time before your transit time. You always have to add that on too. We offer a rush program that takes you from that 3 to 4 weeks down to a little under 2 weeks. It's a very small addition per line item. So if you have like 1, 2, 3 items, like let's say 3 or 4 outdoor sconces, and they're all the same size and they're all the same finish, that's one line item. So it's very inexpensive to rush those kind of things. Don't be afraid to email us and ask about that. Okay, so that's really it. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. We would love to see you in our showroom sometime. And thanks for stopping in.